Creepypastas have tons of terrifying monsters, and some of them have either a counterpart or minion. And these two are prime examples of such. Jane the Killer, the hunter of Jeff the Killer. And TICCI TOBY, the sadistic proxy of Slenderman. These two killers have a lot to go off of, so for this battle, we're going to composite them. Get ready for a creepy battle, because it's time to see which of these teenaged killers will survive in the arena of death. Born as Jane, Arkansas, Jane the Killer seemed to have been living a normal life in a normal, suburban neighborhood. She had a good life, good parents, and she was living well. Everything was just fine. That is until some weirdo had moved into the house next to her along with his family. This kid was Jeffrey Woods, who would later become Jeff the Killer. Because of this, she witnessed all of the events that happened to Jeff and his family before Jeff went insane. Though she was a lot more helpful than Jeff was during this time. She was able to actually call the police when the house was set on fire, because apparently no one had decided to do that, except for the girl across the street, and she went in to go help anyone caught in the fire, though when she saw Jeff on fire, on the edge of death, she passed out. When everything had blown over, and she came back home from the hospital after receiving a nasty bump on her head, her parents would be invited over for dinner at the Woods house. This was when Jeff had went insane, and killed his parents, his brother, and Jane's parents. Jeff would later go off to Jane's house to kill her too. But Jane survived, with a burnt body. Some sources say that Jane the Killer was actually given special abilities by unknown forces to make up for the pain she had gone through, and for the sense of eyesight she had lost in the fire. These unique abilities include enhanced durability, enhanced senses, can regrow limbs, has great tracking skills, and greater speeds, as she can keep up with Jeff the Killer no matter how much of a head start he gets. Not only that, but Jane also has a sixth sense. Electromagnetic reception. Over the years, she has been an expert with her knife, and her tracking skills are incredible. She can track down Jeff the Killer and stalk him. Even with her impressive abilities, she is still a normal human being, and she does have her weaknesses. While she does have a high pain tolerance, this can mean that she doesn't know when to stop fighting, or when she needs to retreat. And while it's still not much of a problem, her eyesight is still awful. Her senses can only help her so much. Though, Jane is still a girl that you wouldn't want to mess with. Overall, Jane the Killer is a skilled rival to Jeff with amazing senses and abilities. However, she is not invincible, and can be overpowered.
Don't go to sleep. You won't wake up.
Toby's childhood wasn't really the best one a kid could have. He was born with multiple different mental illnesses. Stuff like Tourette syndrome, where he would twitch a lot, would give him the name TICCI TOBY, from all the kids around him. But when he was 17, things took a turn for the worst. Both Toby and his sister ended up in a car crash, which resulted in Toby's sister dying in the hospital. At this point, Toby's mental health just ran out as his dad became super abusive. But finally, Toby had a run-in with the tall and faceless demon, the Slenderman. He managed to walk away, but this came with some bad side effects as Toby started dreaming of his dead sister and voices telling him to kill his dad. In the end, Toby killed his father, and then he lit the whole neighborhood and forest on fire, and just waited to die. However, Slenderman had other plans. And that was turning Toby into one of his proxies. Toby uses many different types of weapons. Stuff like axes, knives, or anything else good for killing. Speaking of it, Toby usually carries around a kitchen knife, and 2 hatchets, each being different colors cause you need to make sure which hatchet is which. One is a new hatchet with a bright orange handle and a shiny blade, while the other is an old wooden handle with a dull blade. He also uses gasoline and matches to light stuff and people on fire. Toby is extremely stealthy and uses this for killing, and is basically able to feel no pain. But this doesn't mean he can't be hurt, it is just pain doesn't affect him. Toby has some powers up his sleeve, immunity to soul manipulation, and near-limitless stamina. He is also given Slenderman powers, although it is important to note that the amount of power Toby is given is unknown. Toby is strong for a kid his age. He can easily overpower full-grown adults, and is strong enough to behead people. Not only that, but he is able to survive car crashes. He can match and even surpass Jeff the Killer in speed, and Jeff is fast enough to outrace bullets. Despite being a psychopath, he is incredibly skilled in survival, combat skills, and building new weapons. But Toby obviously has one of the biggest setbacks, his sanity. Toby isn't really all that good in the noggin, and Toby is still a kid with clear physical limits to his strength, durability, and speed. His tick also hinders his intelligence from time to time. But Toby has proven some of the greatest things accomplished for a little killer for his age. Overall, TICCI Toby is a psychotic teenager who is extremely skilled in survival and killing. He is unable to feel pain and can withstand a lot of punishment. However, his mental state is highly unstable.
Who knows? Maybe I'll come for you next.
I guess Jane won't be able to get her revenge on Jeff. This battle was rather interesting. Both killers were skilled in combat, but Toby's superior speed and reliant immortality gave him the victory. Keep in mind that for this battle, the fighters were composite. Jane and Toby had similar strength, being able to overpower foes bigger than them. They also had numerous weapons at their disposal, with Jane having some optional ranged weapons, while most of Toby's were mainly used for close-up combat. It is also true that Jane's senses counter Toby's stealth, but it hardly even mattered because he was too fast for her. It is also important to note that Toby has taken on foes who are superior to Jeff the Killer, who Jane has never beaten without dying herself. TICCI Toby can only die if Slenderman wants him to, which sort of makes this battle a complete stomp in his favor. If we stuck with a specific version of these two, the outcome could have been different, but in a composite battle, Jane doesn't really have any reliable way to win. I hope the outcome of this battle didn't tick you off. The winner is TICCI Toby.